Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Tonight, we're going to kick off a special night. This is going to be one of the high point nights for me personally, of my 4 years as commander of the post. Screening an epic movie that influenced my life. So for those of you guys who are new, I want to welcome you. I'm the commander of the post. My name is Jim Craig. This is the Ronald Reagan Pacific Palisades Post 283 of the American Legion, named after Ronald Reagan because he was a member here. So we had a member who was a prolific actor in the World War II period, and we have a member who's a prolific actor from the 1980s, Richard Chavez. This is going to be fun. I just want to start off by saying how important this movie is. We're in the middle of discussions with the Chief of Public Affairs for the United States Army. We're talking about recruiting issues and the image issues of the military and how impactful Hollywood is. That's why they're coming out here to talk to us about the portrayal of veterans and active duty in the military and what that does to people. While we're having this conversation about the messaging and the image, we're talking here about a movie that impacted my entire generation. I can say this hit during my senior year of high school. When I went to West Point, we didn't have movies, we didn't have cell phones, we didn't have computers to watch videos. We sat in our rooms. Me and my roommate, Scott, would quote lines from Predator. And I gotta admit, we kept trying to figure out what was the name of the grenadier. Pancho was the character's name. But I also want to point out, my classmates from West Point who were impacted by that movie now are wearing 2 stars and 3 stars on their collars right now. When the military spends millions of dollars on recruiting people and trying to message to young people to form our military, to form our national defense, a lot of us took the messaging from movies like this. I know it's a sci-fi movie, but it's a badass special ops movie. Come on. Come on. The idea of the impact is something you'll absorb. I'm gonna turn this over to Richard, though. What I wanted him to do, let me ask you guys, how many of you guys are veterans? Everyone who's a veteran, please stand up. Thank you. First of all, I want to say thank you for your service. And then I want to talk to this man about what bonds us all together. Those of us who are Legionnaires, it's the veteran bond. And before we talk about the movie and all the cool stories on how it's made, I want him to talk about what bonds him to us. I want Richard to talk. I'm going to ask him about what led him to join the military during the Vietnam War and his service as an infantryman. Richard?
Thank you all. Thank you so very much for everybody coming. I'm humbled, I'm honored, and this is a very sacred place for me. I've been here for almost 30 years and in the community of Pacific Palisades, and this American Legion is a foundation for me. And I got back from Vietnam. I was in Vietnam in 71, 72. I grew up in the Marine Corps. My father was a Marine. And so I'm a member here of the Sons and of the Veterans of the Legion. And I remember the first time that I came here, I was a member at Post 43 in Hollywood. And I just moved over into the Sunset Mesa in the Palisades by the Getty Villa. And I was just walking by one day, and a couple of the old timers, Dr. Martini, and Wablicki and some people that, only a few people still know. They were in front of the building and they saw me looking in, okay? And they ran towards me, come on in, right? Are you a veteran? I said, yeah, I'm a veteran. I'm a member of Post 43. Not anymore. You're coming and you're going to be with Post 283. And God, I can't even remember when that was, sometime around 95, 94. And no regrets. I miss some of the old guys, but the new guys that have come in from Iraq and Afghanistan have done, and the sons of, and the Women's Auxiliary, and Jim, and everybody, Jared now, are doing an exceptional job. And I'm very, very proud, will always be proud to say that I'm a member of Post 283, American Legion, Pacific Palisades, the Ronald Reagan American Legion. Real quick, thank you. Thank you, very cool. I got this movie because I was a Vietnam veteran. Jesse the Body Ventura and I are the two Vietnam veterans actually were veterans in the movie Predator. And John McTiernan, the director, was brought to see me in a play called Tracers, which I'm the co-author of the play. And we had done the production at the Odyssey Theater. Gary Sinise and the Steppenwolf had done the production in Chicago. We took it back with an all-veteran cast at the Public Theater with Joseph Papp. He sent us to the Royal Court Theater in London. We came back to the Cornet Theater, and it was around February of '86. And Jackie Birch brought me in for Three Amigos, and I didn't get it. Tony Planet got it. And she goes, don't worry about it, Richard. I'm going to bring a director to see you in a couple of nights, and I'm not going to tell you which night. And it's a new project, and I think you'd be really right for it. And I got a phone call, and John and I met at Joel Silver's office at 20th Century Fox. He asked me what I thought of the part. I thought, well, it's a great part. I said, you're just going to need people that know what they're doing in the jungle. And I know what I'm doing in the jungle. And so he brought me in again to meet with the producers, Larry Gordon, John Davis, and Joel Silver, and Arnold was there, and McTiernan was there. And how it broke down was Joel Silver asked me, he goes, what do you think of the part? And I said the same thing to him that I said to John. I said, it's a great part. I said, you're going to need somebody that knows how to move through the jungle. I'm like a little gato. I'm a cat in the jungle. And I said, it's going to be a difficult shoot. It looks like, and it's a great part. And Joel Silver turned to John and said, is Richard who you want for Poncho? And he goes, yes. And that was it. And Arnold is there, and I got to meet all of them. My heart's pounding, I'm going, gee, many Christmas. There'll only be a few times in my career where I didn't have to read, and stuff like that, and do this whole thing. And I got up to try, I was going to say, I was so excited to say thank you and everything like that. And Jackie came over, Richard, come on, let's go. And don't say anything, you got it, don't blow it, right? And so that was it. And God has blessed me in so many ways, and this is one of those blessings that I received. And because of my service in Vietnam and my participation with 6 other professional actors who were Vietnam veterans writing the play Tracers and performing in it. And this is a product of my experiences in Vietnam, and in a way exercising the things that the 6 of us, 7 of us went through when we were in Vietnam through the play Tracers. So God bless you all. I am humbled and so appreciative that you're here. And I'm just overwhelmed. It's been a long time, and all of a sudden you reminded me of who I used to be. And now I'm back with again. God bless you. Thank you.
Richard, I'm not going to let you sit down yet. What was your MOS? When did you enter service? When did you serve over there? When did you deploy?
My father was a Marine, and I graduated from Mission Viejo High School in '69. And I was only 17, so I wasn't going to get my draft number until October 9th of 1969. So I started going to school at Occidental College, the summer repertory, and I applied and was starting at Occidental as a theater arts major. And my draft number was 13, okay? I knew I was going to go. I grew up in the Marine Corps. I went to my father, who was Marine Air, and I said, I don't want to be a Marine, Dad, I'm sorry. But he goes, that's okay, the Air Force. I went to the recruiter, the Air Force guy, or the Army guy was there, and he goes, the Air Force guy's at lunch. He'll be back in a little bit. A lion, sack, a doggy dude. Okay. The next thing I know, I'm in the United States Army. No regrets, okay? And I went through basic training at Fort Leonard Wood. I was top of my company, and I was the only guy in the entire brigade that scored 100%, or the total score in the physical training, the PT test. And then I went on to Fort Polk in the summer, Tigerland, and that was that for advanced infantry training. That was pretty tough. And from there, I had a couple of little mishaps, but I ended up going to Vietnam in August of 1971. I was with the AmeriCal Division, and I was part of the stand down of the AmeriCal Division in 71, and transferred with 196th Infantry Brigade to Da Nang, and saw the Bob Hope show at Freedom Hill in Da Nang, and I was very blessed, I was very lucky, and I'm just happy that I made it back, and that I've had a voice for Vietnam veterans through the play and through my experiences. I played a lot of military roles over the years, and I am humbled and very proud of my contribution as a Vietnam veteran. So, again, thank you. Your hit, your bleeding scene. There's a great story, is that Jesse and I had worked on that, and the Thomas brothers said, you guys, this is our basic feed on that particular scene, but you guys work out what you want the dialogue to be and everything like that. You can adjust the dialogue however it would. So we worked on it for a long time, and we were scheduled to shoot it, and one day Joel Silver came walking down through the jungle, and he just walks by us, he goes, the hit, your bleeding scene, it's out, it's gone. What? And I'm going, Jesse and I, we almost went crazy. What are you talking about? We're the only two vets, that's the only scene we have together, really. And it's out. So about a week later, it was all day on Sonny, where Sonny Landham, he makes the first, he covers into the palapa. He's at the top and he starts, and then Arnold follows him. Well, Sonny got bit by a scorpion. A scorpion fell from the palapa and actually got him, okay? And so he couldn't finish the day. It wasn't real bad, and he recovered pretty quickly. But Jesse and I were having lunch at the pool, okay? But we had the day off. So we're having lunch at the pool, and all of a sudden, we see one of the ADs, okay, come running down from the office, and Jesse looked at me and he goes, Richard, I got a feeling. And that's all he said. The next thing you know, she goes, they need you on the set. They need you on the set right away. They're going to do the hit, your bleeding scene. Sonny got bit by a scorpion, and we got to go, and they need you right away. They need you right away. And so she started running back up. And we'll be there. And Jesse goes to me, he goes, Richard, just relax. let's take it easy for a little bit, okay? And I said, we gotta go, Jesse, we gotta, no, Richard, relax, okay? Let's have another drink, okay? And I'm going, whoa, wait a minute. And so it took us a while to get there. And that was Jesse's, a little bit of revenge, right? And so we got to the set, and I gotta tell you, that was me that ran across with the squibs going off behind me. The stunt guys were really, there was one time, there were 3 times where I almost ate it. I mean, literally, okay? Once I got bitten by about 35 red ants on this left arm, about 40 on this arm. I mean, I know the jungle, and I checked it out, man. I double-checked, triple-checked it, and I laid down to relax for a minute. The next thing you know, I'm covered in red ants, ripping my clothes off, okay, and running towards a water tank that they had, that they would use to spray the jungle down. And then another time was in the Palisades, where everything's exploding, which we just saw. That took about a month. That entire sequence took about 3.5, almost 4 weeks. And the mowdown scene, which we'll see in a little bit, that took over a week to film just that one sequence. But just when Arnold says to me, he goes, Pancho, you take the point, okay? And I started running, and they had originally filmed it to where I ran through these 2 firewalls, okay? Now what they would do, they had to build these fires up almost every time when we shot, okay? So what would happen was a lot of the guys the guys that were working, we had a lot of Mexican crew, incredible crew, and they would put gas, okay, in plastic bags, okay, and they would throw them and ignite the flames again, like you see all those flames in the scene. Well, I was supposed to run through them, okay, in this when he tells me to run, and Bo Marks, who was a great AD, who was the assistant director, he noticed that one of the guys, there was a hole in the bag, okay? So he lit this one on fire, and there was a hole in the bag, and he went to go light this one on fire, and McTiernan and Joel Silver was there that day. They go, go, Richard, go! And just as I'm about to get into it, Bo Marks grabbed me from behind, and boom, the whole thing exploded in flames. Singed my eyebrows, okay? So for a week or so after that, they had to give me some false eyelashes. But I got to tell you, all those sequences and that stuff, I'm sitting here going, I'm flashing back on all these incredible things that happened. What else? Oh, the chopper stuff. The chopper stuff was great. Carl and I spent, when we climbed up into the chopper in the beginning, Carl and I were up there for about 2 hours, okay? They left us up there, okay? They left us up there, they walked away. I mean, we could have climbed up, but they said, no, we need you up there, you gotta stay up there again. So Carl and I are talking, God bless him, Carl Weathers, one of the greatest. I am truly blessed that he was my friend, and we spent a lot of time together over the years. And he's gone now. So we lost Sonny Landham, he's gone, and we lost Kevin Peter Hall, who is the man that's actually in the Predator suit. Incredibly intelligent. Real quick, so we go down to film the Predator sequences, and these sequences here up to this point, almost all of them were filmed in Puerto Vallarta. There were a couple of scenes that were filmed in Chiapas, by the Cascadas Azules, the cascading waterfalls, and that's coming up in a minute. So it's me and Shane Black and Kevin, and Stan Winston and Arnold were the only ones they brought back for the sequences to do, because Jean-Claude Van Damme was supposed to be the Predator, okay? And he was with us for about 3 weeks, the word came back from the dailies that from 20th Century Fox said it looked like a rat. Okay, stopped all filming on the Predator. So we were looking at, you know, at the sky. You know, he's over there, he's over here, and so they brought in Stan Winston. We go down to Chiapas, okay, the Palenque, and Kevin Peter Hall and Shane Black came up to me and he goes, "We're going to play Trivia Pursuit. It's going to be the actors against the special effects guys," okay? So we go to Kevin and we go, "Kevin, we want to play Trivia Pursuit." And he goes, "I can't." "What do you mean?" He goes, "I know all the answers." As God is my witness, okay? He goes, "I can't do it." So we finally convinced him, okay? And we wiped him out, man. He had memorized when he was growing up all of the answers on the cards. He knew all the answers to Trivia Pursuit. What a sweetheart, what a wonderful man. And then of course, Sonny Landham. Sonny, one thing about Sonny Landham, nobody, not Jesse, not Arnold, nobody messed with Sonny. Nobody. They were all afraid of him, okay? He was a great guy, but he was a crazy guy, a veteran, okay? And God bless, we lost Sonny too.
You know, I want to say,
there we go.
I've been in the Army for 30 years. Almost all that's the special operations. I've been in 3 wars. And this movie, compared to all the other movies from the 80s, the cinematography captured the deep spirit.
That's Don McAlpine. Don McAlpine won the Academy Award for cinematography for Breaker Morant. And we were just totally blessed. This man was in the mud. I mean, I came back to the Camino Real Hotel a couple of times picking ticks off of my body, okay? It was pretty intense at times. It was really intense, but Don McAlpine was one of the great cinematographers, an Academy Award-winning cinematographer, and we were lucky. And Alan Silvestri, the music, you know. That man came up to me one day. I didn't even know who he was, okay? I had no idea who he was, and he came up to me and he was introduced, and he's writing the music for the movie. And he said, "Richard, do you want to listen to some of the stuff that I come up with?" So this is 1986. And I put the earphones on. He had one of those little, you know, we didn't have all this fancy stuff like we have now. And I'm listening to this music, man. I'm going, wow, this is unbelievable. Well, of course, you know, he's one of the greatest music score, movie composers of all time. So, God, it was, I'm blessed. Really am.
I have to ask, the relationship between the veterans on the set, between you and Jesse, and the other actors. The team movements, the hand and arm signals,
right.
The engagement, moving through the bush,
right.
It was perfect.
Yeah.
And we can go through and pick apart this and pick apart that, but looking at the positives, this movie was head and shoulders above the rest.
It was good. Thank you.
You said that you and Jesse were the only 2 vets. Were you teaching? Were you instructing? What was your influence?
Jesse and I were pretty close. I mean, then, okay? And, you know, we had the "You're Hit, You're Bleeding" scene, and we had a couple of other things that we did. But we spent a lot of time together. I got to meet his wife, and I remember a story. We're in a hollow, okay? And the guys were, because it was in the summer, really hot, there wasn't a lot of greenery. You see all the greenery, okay? A lot of this greenery was planted, okay? They had a huge nursery. They had a water truck, and before a lot of the scenes, they would just wet the entire area down, okay? And Jesse and I were sitting on this ridge line, and behind us was the raw jungle, okay? and we had all of our weapons and everything like that. And then in front of us, okay, were the guys working, I mean, 75 guys working on this one hillside, okay? And then the cameras all down below and all this stuff. And Jesse looked at me and he goes, Richard, thank God for this side of the picture. He goes, and we looked around, I looked around and said, yeah, it was like we were back in Vietnam, to be perfectly honest. It was a lot of deja vu going on for me anyway, because that was, I'd done a couple of things. Well, I did a lot of work before then with weapons and stuff like that, but nothing in the jungle like it was in Vietnam. So this was a real deja vu, and there was a lot of things that, that I went through just mentally and psychologically, and Jesse and I talked about that a fair amount during the filming.
Did you have to show Arnold or Carl?
This is something I didn't say. 2 weeks before we started filming, first of all, I got a phone call from my agent after I got the part, and she goes, Richard, they want you to be at the gym tomorrow morning at 5 o'clock. And I said, what do you mean? I go, what? Okay. They go, well, and this was 2 months before we even started filming. So for 2 months before we started filming, okay, I was at the gym with Arnold and all the other guys. We were all required to work out. Then we go out and have breakfast afterwards. And then he brought the gym down to Puerto Vallarta, so we had to work out while we were working, which was okay. But, God, I got the phone call that when to go down, and we had 2 Vietnam veteran mercenaries, okay, that came to Puerto Vallarta, and for 2 weeks before we even started shooting, we went through like an in-country training, okay? And boy, I gotta tell you, man, that was, Billy Duke, hated it. Sonny hated it, okay? Jesse and I were going, come on, guy, come on, let's go. And, but a lot of them really didn't, but it did solidify us as a group, as a team, okay? Those 2 weeks of in-country training, which was pretty cool. That's where I got bit by the ants. I had spent so much time in the gym, okay? And I was cooking, man. Oh, Jesus, God. I had these big giant arms and all this stuff. And so I'm not going to wear I'm going to wear a T-shirt, man. I want everybody to see what they put me through and what I became, okay, from all this training. And so I get bit by these ants, okay. I'll never forget, and I remember I was telling you a story, I run to the water tank, I'm totally naked, and they're washing me down, okay. They're spraying me with the water. And then they brought the doctor in, okay. And I was a little bit in shock. And the doctor looked, this is bad. When the doctor goes, do you know, I've never seen anything like this before. What? Wait a minute, man, come on. So for the first, I don't know, because they welted and it was ugly. I had to wear a long sleeve shirt. So that was one thing that kind of got me. But that happened during the in-country training. So this is my jacket. I'm putting it on because it's cold in here, man. There's my Predator jacket, which is really cool. I had not worn it in a long time. And I said to myself when I pulled it out of the closet, I said, man, this is a nice jacket. I should be wearing this, man. What am I doing? And then I have a couple of knives here. When Elpidia hits me, which we just saw just a little bit ago, my actual blood is on, this is one of the knives that I carry. And my blood, the Jack Crane, this is a Jack Crane knife, one of them. I wish I had the big one, but this is the real deal here that Jack Crane made. And so I carried this knife, and then of course the grenade launcher, and the it had a MP5 and a Israeli bagel handgun. but let me show you these two too. I did a TV series called War of the Worlds, and I asked Jack Crane if he would make some knives for me, and this is what he came up with. I said I wanted a double-edged, like a dagger, but a big giant dagger. This is what he made for me. I know there were a couple of people here that said that they had seen War of the Worlds. Well, this is the knife that I carried in War of the Worlds, the Jack Crane knife. Is this the dummy? This is the dummy, so you can't. Both of these are still to this day like razor blades. But this is the Jack Crane knife for War of the Worlds that I did for Paramount. And
Quick show of hands, those of you guys are veterans. How many guys went down to PX and bought a badass knife after watching these movies?
oh yeah? Cool.
Even if we're truck drivers, we all had a badass knife.
Man, I tell you, I have a collection of Jack Crane knives, which are, you know, they're just, him and I were really good friends. He passed away not long ago, but I visited his, I gotta clean this. I did Walker, Texas Ranger. I guest starred with Chuck Norris on that, which was a great experience. And Jack Crane lives in Waco, and his shop was in Waco, Texas. And I got to visit his shop, and I didn't bring it, but we made a knife that I helped him design, and which is really pretty cool. And then I have a collection of little miniature knives, which are, I mean, you wouldn't believe it. Some of them are so realistic and so beautiful. And then Jack Crane did Roadhouse, and I can't remember, Commando. I believe it was Commando. Golly moly. Thank you guys so much. I can't believe it. That was pretty cool. Really cool. Very cool. Man, I got to tell you, this is the first time I saw the movie was at Fox for a screening at the studio. And I got to tell you, I was like in shock. I'd been in a couple of movies before, but this one was, of course, gigantic, the biggest. And I saw myself up there for really the first time. And I was like a little bit of, wow, this is crazy. And I left early and I drove home, and I started getting these phone calls. Where'd you go, Richard? Where'd you go, man? And then the second time was at the Avco in Westwood for the premiere. And I couldn't watch it. Oh my God, that's me. It was a little overwhelming. But anyway, I'm out in the lobby, and there's Joel Silver, Larry Gordon, and John Davis, the producers. They weren't going to go in and sit down either. And so the four of us were out in the lobby, like looking through the window to see how the audience was reacting, okay? And they were going crazy. They really were, like you wonderful people did. And I swear to God, these guys, gigantic producers, I was a little guy in the whole realm of things, right? And what do you think? What do you think, Richard? What do you think? They're asking me what I thought. I said, listen, just listen. They're going crazy, man. Yeah, I think this is going to be pretty big, and it had a great opening and everything like that. And I was blessed from that moment on. I'd been doing a fair amount of work, but that was one of the, of course, the big catalysts for my career. And went on to I did The Gambler 3 with Kenny Rogers, of course, War of the Worlds, and a lot of, television shows, MacGyvers. I did a couple of MacGyvers, and, traveled around the world, really. Did a mini-series with Anthony Quinn and Raul Julia and Jane Seymour called Onassis, the Richest Man in the World, and which was a great thing in Cadiz in Spain. And I've just been blessed. I really have.
I guess as an actor, what was the most challenging stuff you ran into? I mean, you had the military stuff.
I had the military stuff pretty big. Yeah, it's coincidentally that you asked me that question. About 7 years ago, And I get a little verklempt every once in a while. But the hardest part I ever played was I played Philoctetes, in the Sophocles play about Philoctetes, for the Aquila Theater in Manhattan about 6.5 years ago. And my father had just passed away. And the theater, I love the theater, okay? The theater is the penultimate test of an actor. And so I was doing Philoctetes. It was 30 pages, okay? It was only about an hour long, but it was all me. Full page monologues, okay? And I got to tell you, and it was just very, very difficult. And I love theater. Thank God I pulled it off, okay? And it was an all veteran cast. Well, the director and the producer are both wonderful people. And the producer, he was a special forces with the British in Afghanistan, or in Iraq. And he was also a Greek professor, a professor of Greek at NYU. And I did a couple of things for them here in Los Angeles, readings. And then right at the time my father was passing away, I get a phone call and they asked me to play Philoctetes. And that was the most challenging role that I've ever done. And you know, sometimes a tragedy can happen, and it can, as an actor, contribute to the emotion of the character that you're playing. That happened in Predator because of the Vietnam stuff. And with Philoctetes, it was because of my father passing. And I'll never forget, he was in the hospice, okay? And he had come and he saw me in the New York performance of Tracers at the Public Theater. And I said to my dad, he was still a little bit conscious, okay? And I said, I got this part, Dad, I got this part. And he's laying in the bed. And I said, I'm going to go back to New York. I'm going to be in a play in New York again. And my dad looked at me and he goes, bullshit. I mean, you know, God. And he got a smile on his face. And but that was probably the hardest thing I ever did. And the series, the television series. Doing a series, 26 episodes over a period of time. And we filmed in Toronto. We had a great crew, great cast, but it was really difficult. The continuity, doing, a show a week, and, just carrying the character through 26 episodes was a little difficult. But that was a military thing as well. And in fact, I think I'm pretty close to holding the record of aliens killed, okay? I killed more aliens in that television show than anybody. I don't care. I don't care who you are. I killed a lot of aliens. So at least we don't have to worry about those aliens. They're gone, baby. But that was, it was the first thing done about War of the Worlds since the 50, I can't remember the date, in the 50s when Ann Robinson, who guest starred came back, and she was in the original movie. And then, of course, there was the Orson Welles, the movie, and then we were the first remake of War of the Worlds. So that was an honor in and of itself. So, Philoctetes, Sophocles. I've done Shakespeare. Very, very difficult, but I love the Greek plays, Sophocles and Homer, and that stuff is really incredible.
Richard, I have to ask the story. Did you live or did you die?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So in my mind, okay, I lived, okay? When you see me hit the deck, okay, I hit the deck, you don't see really any blood. My head isn't completely ripped off. okay? And I'm laying down like this on this side, and this is all clean, everything's cool, okay? I didn't get my spine ripped out or my skull looked at, okay? So this is so I'm guest starring on LA Law at Fox, okay? And at the same time they were filming Predator 2 across the way. And I had a break from LA Law, and I said, well, let me go over and see what's happening with this thing. What are they doing? I didn't know really anything about it. And I ran into the Thomas brothers who wrote The Predator and everything like that. And I said, wow, how's it going? How's it going? I mean, geez, I would love to be in Predator 2. And about that time, and I thought, you know what you do? You just, put a lot of makeup on me, and I'm a bum on the side of the sidewalk, okay? And the camera pans, right? Now all the sci-fi people, they're gonna go, oh my God, and they're gonna rewind it. There's Richard Chavez, oh my God. And about that time, Joel Silver was walking up behind me, and the Thomas brothers goes, Richard, what do you think? Maybe we can put him in the background, in the Predator 2? And Joel goes, Richard, you're dead. And walks, you're dead, okay? Live with it, right? So, but you never know. My God. By the time they get around to me again, it's going to be Predator 15, right? It's amazing how there's so many incredible people that I've met over the years, and that and Jim and really are huge fans. I met a lot of you today from the bottom of my heart. Man, I'm truly humbled, and thank you. It's really cool. Anybody else?
I owe you so many thanks for so many things, but I just found out that you were involved in making Tracers.
Oh, yeah.
I was in the Long Beach Playhouse production as Professor.
Really?
Yeah.
I saw that production. I think I came to that
I
production.
was the plastic explosive Claymore Mind.
Parallel.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're very welcome. That's Harry Stevens. That monologue, okay,
Yeah.
the plastic explosive Claymore Mind conjures up another technological improbable war in the mud. Is Napalm Nelly a new dance? By the name of Roy Rogers' Jeep. A myriad of anachronisms brought to you by today's fantasy ball. Proper attire, jungle camouflage. We live daily in our subterranean rat-infested bunkers, the true definition of surrealism. Time on a shivering, wet, isolated, starless, black perimeter guard duty night is not a theoretical. It is a self-propelled hammer and anvil pounding out another Kafkaesque minute after minute, and I see through the crack in the mirror. I see through to her, brushing my cheek with her long pointed fingernails, piercing my heart, and whispering an ever sweet and gentle lie. I love you. Halt! Who goes there? I do, apprehensively walking towards myself, frightened by the prospect that we might someday meet. That's my favorite piece from Tracers. That's really cool. Very, very cool. God bless.
I was hoping you could talk about how that came out of therapy with all the other writers.
Tracers, I was working at Cafe Figaro's, and Xander Berkeley, who was a great actor, I'm sure you've all seen Xander in a bunch of different things, and I never told anybody I was a veteran. Back then, it was really not. It was pretty tough, okay? A lot of people don't get that, but it was really hard, and a lot of anti-Vietnam stuff. And Xander Berkeley came up to me and he goes, Richard, I saw this ad in the drama log, they're looking for professional actors who are Vietnam veterans to do a play about Vietnam at the Odyssey Theater. And I said, no, I'm not interested, Xander. Xander cut the ad out and put it in a few dollar bills. And in the heat of the night, okay, as we're going in and out from the kitchen, he goes, Richard, there's a couple of dollars. This was on table 5. I lived in a $200 a month, 2-bedroom apartment at Pico and La Brea, okay? I went back to my apartment that night. I always counted my money at home. And I'm going to, and I, Xander, you son of a bitch, okay? The next day, 'cause I knew some people from the Odyssey Theater at that time, it's probably, and still is to this day, one of the best theaters you should go if you have an opportunity to put on some great plays. The very next day, I knew that, and John DeFusco, who was the conceiver, director, I knew that they were doing, what was the play? A Grotowski play. Anyway, Mother Courage. They were doing Mother Courage. And so I got a picture and resume and a copy of my DD 214. And I went down to the Odyssey, okay? And I sought him out before the play and gave it to him. And I was one of the first cast in the play. And on April the 1st, 1980, we all got together. And Shad Meshad, okay? Is the gentleman here that I was talking to about Shad still here? Anyway, I was talking to a gentleman earlier who knew Shad Meshad was one of the great Vietnam veterans, started the outreach centers, and a psychiatrist in Vietnam. And Shad got us a space at a cafeteria at the Westwood VA because we couldn't go to the Odyssey because they didn't have a space there. And for the next months, okay, we wrote the play in improvs, personal writings. It was an ensemble with John DeFusco was the director, conceiver, and co-author. Vinnie Caristi, Rick Gallivan, Harry Stevens, Merlin Marston, and with Sheldon Lettich. And for the next 6 months or so, we wrote it. At midnight, on the 4th of July, we did a work-in-progress production at the Odyssey Theater, 1980. And we invited just about everybody that we could. And the Chicago conspiracy trial was in playing at the time, okay? And so we went on their set, and we did this performance, and we gave little, tell us what you think, okay? And one of the things is really, I play the flute, okay? And so we thought, well, at the end of the play, I played God Bless America, okay? God bless the and one of the first things they said, you can get rid of the flute at the end. You want to lose the flute there on the end, It just doesn't work. So in place of that, we did this ritualistic tribal song, How Does It Feel to Kill Somebody? And it was amazing. We were a hit immediately. People embraced us immediately. We opened on Veterans Day 1980. Everybody, I mean everybody came to see these crazy vets at the Odyssey Theater, ranting and raving and exercising themselves, but telling the truth and telling our story in a very independent way, okay? And O.J. Simpson came. David Merrick came to see the play, the very famous Broadway producer. Hal Holbrook, I could go on and on. Jodie Foster. Everybody came to see us. It was just a wonderful thing, great experience. And then from there, we wanted to take the play to New York. And we wanted it to be with all veterans, okay? Very, very difficult. And Gary Sinise and Moira McKenna Harris, his wife, came to see the play at the Odyssey, the original production, and were on us like flies on what, to do it at the Steppenwolf in Chicago. And we said no. We said no. And I moved on, and I did a play called Vietnam Trilogy, which I won a Drama Log Award for. We won the Los Angeles Drama Critics Circle Award ensemble over Bleacher Bums. Real quick, we finally said, okay, let's let it go to Chicago, see what happens. Gave them a 12-week contract. They could do it for 12 weeks. And I saw the play. They did a great job. It was really wonderful, and it did create a catalyst for us. I went on to do the movie Ceasefire with Don Johnson, from Vietnam Trilogy was made from, and I decided to move to New York. The next thing I know, the success, this was February of '84, the success of Tracers in Chicago stirred up a lot of interest in New York, and they tried to take it away from us, okay? I love Gary. Gary was here, what, a couple of years ago. Anyway, we took the play back. We presented it to Joseph Papp with the help of Tommy Bird, who ran the Vietnam Veterans Ensemble Theater Company, and myself and Vinnie Caristi, two of the original cast members. The deal was, well, I'll tell you what, me and Tom Bird and John, we go into Mr. Papp's office. Now, I don't know, how many people know Joseph Papp? Joseph Papp, one of the greatest theater producers at the Public Theater of all time. And a chorus line he was responsible for. Hair, he was responsible for. The stage manager for Hair and Chorus Line became our stage manager. We walk into Mr. Papp's office. He comes walking in with a big cigar, and he says, boys, I read 2 plays last night, your play and The Normal Heart. He said it was one of the most devastating nights of my life. And he goes to John and I, he goes, are you amenable to using some of the Vietnam Veteran Ensemble actors who were really very, very, very good, accomplished actors and have been working in New York for a lot. And we said, yes. Are you amenable to rewrites? Okay, absolutely. And he turned to his wife. He said, what do we have available? So this was sometime around July of 1984. And he says, she goes, yeah, we have Susan Stein Shiva open in, starting in September. He goes, how long will it take, blah, 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 blah. And he goes, okay, let's do it. Whoa, man, are you kidding me? We wrote this play, we're Vietnam veterans. We're gonna get these other great Vietnam veteran actors from New York, and we're gonna open at the Public Theater with Joseph Papp producing. Wow. I mean, wow. I mean, that's gigantic in the theater world. I won the New York Theater World Award for debut performance on or off Broadway. And then he sent us to London, to the Royal Court Theater. And then we came back to the Cornet, where Mr. McTiernan and Jackie Birch, they saw me in the play, and that was it for Predator. So that's basic story of Tracers, really a great experience, yes.
So in Predator, you're playing a soldier in the jungle. These are things that you know, part of your life, things that are very real for you. You're fighting an alien, which is unreal for all of us.
Right.
What was it like for you to be kind of stuck between these things that you know and are very true, and your experience fighting the Predator and maybe seeing the Stan Winston Predator for the first time?
Well, see, the one thing about it is that in actuality, I never saw him. I never saw the Predator. The other guys did see them before they were killed, okay? But I never got to see him. My whole thought pattern in this thing was to be as real and to portray a soldier the best that I could, the best that I knew how, because I had done it before. And so I had a great opportunity to along with Jesse, to make it as real as we possibly could. And but the thing about it was, once they stopped the filming of Jean-Claude, because it was like I said, they sent the dailies back and they said, boy, that thing looks like a rat. And Joel Silver, you know, Jean-Claude already had a 3-picture deal with Menahem I think Goldman, I can't remember how, a big producer guy. And Jean-Claude, I made friends with him. Nobody else could relate to the guy. For some reason, him and I, you know, I kind of got along with the guy. And I mean, even at one point, Joel came up to me and said, can you please talk to him? He wants his face to be seen, okay? He's an alien. What are you, nuts? John, I'm really sorry, but you're a handsome guy. You don't look like an alien, okay? But I went to him with the idea that because he could move like nobody else in the world, okay? And I tried to convince him that, you know, you don't want your face to be seen, but they're all going to know it's you because nobody else in the world can move like that, okay? But anyway, it turned out they stopped all the filming. So I never, until the great Stan Winston, who created, you know, and won the Academy Award for a bunch of other things. It was nominated for special effects, but Back to the Future won. But honestly, my entire character visualization and performance was based on the military aspect of it, and being as you know, true to the military form as I possibly could. And I did not see Stan Winston's interpretation until Chiapas, when we went down to Chiapas, and I was there for that whole period. I got some great pictures from that too. I wish I would have been able to bring them. The trailer and all the special effects guys and stuff like that. But when I first saw this son of a bitch, holy mac, I mean, I couldn't believe it, okay? And I will say this, I wish that I could have seen it, you know, before. But as we were just, and the other guys, we were just looking in that direction, looking that direction. At one point, no, we didn't even know. The whole time we were filming, the first initial filming, and they shut down the Jean-Claude and the Predator suit that he had on. I didn't hear anything about it, and we finished the filming, and then in January of '87, I get the phone call to go back because Stan Winston had created this, you know, the suit and everything like that, with Cameron, James Cameron's help, in regards to the, what do you call those, Mandibles, thank you. And then when I got bed down in Chiapas, boom, they opened up this big trailer, the back of the trailer, and Kevin was there, and he got and put, and wow, I'm going, this is one ugly mother. All right, so.
Rich, thank you so much for coming.
Hey, thank you, man.
I have a question about War of the Worlds. That was a syndicated TV show that was on Saturday morning, sandwiched between Hulkamania and Saved by the Bell.
Right.
It came on at noon on the East Coast back in
Right.
88, 89. I want to know, what was your, now mind you, this is where the internet and social media and everything like that, what was your fan base like that you had a Saturday / late morning, early afternoon syndicated show?
I got to tell you, I have to tell you that when it first came out, it was sandwiched between Star Trek: The Next Generation on Friday night and Friday the 13th. When it first came out, we were beating both of them, okay, in the ratings, unquestionably. The experience for me personally, it was overwhelming. Okay, the fans, my fan mail during that show was unbelievable. Almost, it was a little scary. I'm going, holy cow, they love this character, okay? And that's when I started to go to like sci-fi conventions. It's at the Penta, you know, in Manhattan. And I'd never experienced this before, even with Predator. I went to my hotel room, and I'm hearing all this clatter outside my hotel room, right? And I go to the peephole, and there are like these 3 girls out there just hanging out, right? When I walked in the lobby, okay, I never had this happen before. When I walked in the lobby, I was walking and I hear, there he is. There he is. He's over there. Did you see him? And I'm going, whoa, what's going on? So that series, and then it's when I really started going to sci-fi conventions, it exploded. And I'm blessed. They really loved the character, and you know, it was a pretty lucrative thing, those sci-fi conventions. But it comes with this caveat, and well, it's not a caveat. It comes with this. This was in 80. So Predator was 87, 88, 89, 90, 91. I was cooking. I mean, it was a lot of shows and the War of the Worlds and sci-fi conventions and stuff like that. And it gets really crazy. There were not a lot, computers were just coming out, okay? And the next thing I know, and I bought a Corvette, okay? One of the first, and I'll never own a high-end car like that ever again. But and my license plate was my nickname in Vietnam, Dinky Dow, which means crazy, which they gave to me the first month I was in Chu Lai. You Buku Dinky Dow. And so I had it on my license plate, okay, Crazy Vet. And people started following me, okay, showing up at my house, showing up at my mom's house, at my dad's house in Florida, right? Does Richard live here? Is this Richard Chavez's house? And I'll be perfectly honest with you, it got a little scary. Even back then. Today, I mean, I just can't, I am not on, I'm all over Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, I'm all over it. Even eBay and all those places. But I am not, I don't participate in any of it. No Facebook, no anything. And even to this day, they'll show up at my apartment, you know, and knock on the, not very rare, doesn't happen that often, but it still happens. And a lot of attention when you're doing a television series or a streaming, I guess now a streaming service. And I got to tell you, it's for me to get back into the business again, which I'm on the brink of just starting to make a decision as whether or not I want to do it again. And I've had some people interested, but I have second thoughts about it. It can be very trying. And, you know, Jiminy Christmas, I won't even tell you what my political affiliation is, except to say that I'm a Libra, okay?
Thank you so much for coming out tonight. This was my buddy and I grew up watching this movie, and I have to say, I always noticed you in the movie because you just seem like the quiet professional, and that is something that I've noticed about all my family, friends, and veterans, is that they do their job, they do it well, they don't, you know, there's a lot of outsized personalities in the movie, and you come across as one of the ones that knows more than he's letting on, and I have to say it's just fantastic acting, but one of the things that I noticed watching it growing up was the Spanish, and I was curious if you are a fluent speaker of Spanish.
So I am Puerto Rican, okay? My father is 100% Puerto Rican. My mother is Scottish and Native American, and I got the white skin, okay? I have more ethnic minority in me than Barack Hussein Obama, okay? Who is half white and half black, and we won't get into that except to say that all freaking lives matter, period. But I do speak Spanish, but I'm not that good at it. When I was a boy, okay, my nickname was Pepe, after Cantinflas in the movie he did, Pepe. And so I have my Latin family from, my dad was born in New York with 3 brothers, and my mother was born in Roanoke, Virginia, okay? in a log cabin. I didn't realize exactly who the hell I was. Am I Puerto Rican? Am I Latin? Am I a white kid? Until I saw West Side Story. And then I realized that I'm a shark and a jet, okay? So, and in a sense, that's kind of the I'm not even speaking in the mic. In a sense, that's kind of, I'm a human being first, okay? And a Libra and an American, okay? And, but I do speak a little bit of Spanish, but not as good as I should. Oh, the reason why? Because when I was a kid, I spoke Spanish with my grandparents, okay? And I was pretty good at it. But my mother, okay, no more Spanish. You're gonna speak English, you know? And so it took it, I lost it. I lost it and have been trying to gain it back and do as the best I can with it, you know? But Elpidia, I have to give Elpidia credit. She really, really helped me a lot, okay? And so, yeah.
And it just rang true for so many people in military and special operations, because the movie is set in South America. Hopper is from Fort Bragg. Fort Bragg was home 7th Group at the time. 7th Group is Spanish-speaking, South America. And they would have, on an ODA or on a special operations team, they would have predominantly Spanish-speaking guys, a lot of Hispanic background guys in special operations. And so his character really rang true with a lot of people. You really connected with it from the military side.
Yeah, it was a privilege, absolute privilege. I've spoken Spanish in a few other things that I've done, and it's my dream. One of vive en la ciudad with todas personas habla español. Mi español es muy bueno when I'm talking it, you know, all the time. And yes.
So it was my first time actually seeing this movie. I got a photo with you earlier. My dad was saying how he actually saw The Predator when it first came out in films. So this was a treat for him to bring his son down here and get to see you, and for me to see this movie for the first time. And I wanted to say, just that other gentleman was saying about your professionalism in the film. You and Billy in the film, it was great. You guys had really good synergy, and I really loved the characters. And it was overall a great film. I really liked it. And I wanted to ask, you mentioned that you wanted to be in Predator 2, but you were told Pancho's dead, he's done.
Pancho's dead.
And so I have to ask, is there any film or TV show or any sort of production that you've seen and you went, man, I really want to be a part of that, aside from a couple like Predator 2?
Oh, well. Well, the one thing I really wanted to do is I wanted to be on Star Trek, okay? And I was up for Data in Next Generation. The word came back, and this happened to me a lot, okay? And this is not, please understand, God has blessed me in many ways, but there were a number of things, and they would come back, and Roddenberry, who I interviewed for the part, he said, you know, he's just too handsome. Maggie Henderson, my agent, who's gone now with Henderson Hogan, she would get so pissed off, she would go, and she cursed, okay? I don't want to do a lot of cursing, but she goes, God damn it, Richard. The same thing, I said, I'm too handsome, right? She goes, yes, I can't wait until you're 50, okay? I can't wait until you're, but she passed away. Little did she know that I still look young for my age. But Star Trek Voyager, okay, I eventually, okay, got a part on Star Trek Voyager. And that was a great experience. I played a Native American. I played a Native American in War of the Worlds and in The Gambler 3 and in Star Trek Voyager. But I always wanted to do Voyager, and I finally got to do it. Small part, but a really significant part with Henry Darrow and some great, about Chakotay when he was a boy, because Chakotay also plays Native American in Voyager. I got to tell you, what was the other thing that there were a few things that I interviewed for, And I wanted it so bad, you know. Sometimes you gotta walk in like MacGyver, okay? I just come off a couple of really nice things, okay? And I wanted a break, okay? And so I got the call to go for the interview from MacGyver, and I just ripped through it, okay? And I said, oh God, and they called me and said, we want you to do it. It was great. It was called The Treasure of Monco, and I got to play a South American rebel, okay? And then the next thing you know, they were really happy with what I did, and all of a sudden I get a call from Maggie, and this was the same season, okay, but near the end of the season, and I had done this Treasure of Monco near the beginning. They called me back to do another part, okay, but to play a suburban cop. So in The Treasure of Monco, it was with Teresa Saldana. I got to work with Richard Roundtree in this Tough Boys. I played a suburban cop, okay? And that was a great experience. And I didn't read a word, nothing. They just remembered me from Monco and said, we want Richard to come back, so yeah.
Get some of that credit from the other stuff you were working on.
Yeah, exactly. No, they were very, very good. I loved, that was probably one of the best shows I ever did. And Walker, Texas Ranger, directed by Tony Mordante, who was a jet in West Side Story. Are you kidding me, man? I love that movie. I met Tony Mordante. I worked with Russ Tamblyn, cartoon thing, okay? And I met Rita Moreno, worked with Tony Mordante, and I'm at the movie theater at Avco, okay, where they premiered Predator, and who was Maria? God, somebody help me. I can't. Who? Natalie Wood. So Natalie Wood and the knucklehead husband of hers then, okay? I really didn't like him that much. But I'm at the Avco at a matinee, and they come walking in. Was it Richard something or Robert something? Anyway. Yeah, Wagner. Yeah, that guy. God bless him. Anyway, they come walking in, and I'm like stunned. Okay, this is Natalie Wood. She's Maria, man. So I went up and I said hello and said, but West Side Story is probably my favorite movie of all time. I have a lot of them. The Bishop's Wife is a very big movie for me.
Thank you again also for being here. This is, to me, it's one of the most quotable movies growing up. My brothers and I would quote it all the time. I'd get my dad's big razors and put the lid on it and do the scene, do all that stuff. You talked about working out for this film. Did you ever get involved or pulled into that supposed competitive nature between Jesse and Arnold, where they were sizing up their arms and
let me tell you, okay? I'll tell you, so we're having breakfast at the Camino Real Hotel, okay? And Carl and Arnold were pretty, and Jesse. So we're all sitting around the breakfast, all of us are sitting around the breakfast table out on this patio, okay? And we were staying at this hotel, so we had half the hotel, but then tourists were still coming in, okay? And once people found out that we were filming, we were staying at the hotel, it was phenomenal. So we're sitting at the table, and there are these two gorgeous, stunning women that are sitting right in front, and they keep looking back, and they keep looking back. And Carl goes, watch this, okay? And he goes, walking down, he sits down, he starts talking to these two ladies, and they're in a conversation. And Arnold is sitting there with a cigar. And Arnold goes, Richard, hold my cigar. Watch this. And Arnold goes up behind Carl, so he couldn't see him, okay? He couldn't see him. And he stands there, and he takes his T-shirt, and he just rips it, okay, like this, and starts doing, all the moves, right? The next thing you know, Carl is sitting at the table with us, and the girls are going crazy over Arnold. Oh my God, and touch it. Now you got to remember that within about 3, maybe a month, okay, Arnold was on a plane to Hyannisport to marry Maria Shriver, okay? And I won't get into any of that. I love them both. I love them both very, very much. I know nothing. I saw nothing. I heard nothing. But it was like, I mean, it was incredible. I have so many wonderful stories.
I'd like to finish, I'll finish it off, 2 points, 2 things. One thing I'd like to say, well, first, in the airborne community, we always say thank you with a challenge point.
No, thank you. God bless, thank you very much.
I want to leave this
Cool.
with a compliment. Watching this movie, having watched it dozens of times, this movie stands out to those of us who are combat veterans. Something that was represented, your lines, and so much of your authenticity. And it's what made the movie stand out and made it great. There were a lot of cool movies, you know, Chuck Norris, Missing in Action, but they didn't have authenticity between the actors. Was possible in this movie because they had a real infantry veteran on that team. And I'm sure Arnold and the guys all get amazing credit for what they did in this movie, but watching you, your performance, your delivery, your authentic delivery, to me is what made this a great movie. And I want to
Thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank all of you. God bless you.
One last thing, I want to thank, before he starts signing autographs, I want to thank you all for coming. This was a unique concept and idea that we came up with that I wanted to do for quite a while. And I want to let you know the way we came up with the idea. This guy and I are both broke dick vets, and we run into each other at the VA hospital. The two of us
Tell them what we were doing.
happened to be sitting in the VA hospital on the 4th floor in the prep room for a rather invasive and very uncomfortable
A colonoscopy.
procedure.
Unbelievable. I walk in the door, and there he is across from me. Oh,
And they're juicing us up with the drugs. Man, I got the greatest idea. I'm gonna do a screening with you. Oh man, that'd be great, Jim. I'm all for it.
Yep,
and then
yep.
we can have people who can stop at intermission.
Yeah.
Bring your toys out. And
yeah. That's it, Richard. We're going to screen Predator, and you're going to come and speak to everybody. And this was like, what, 4 years ago? Three years ago.
2 or 3.
About 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
And then they wheeled us up and afterwards said, I have this weird memory. Predator, there's some rather invasive feeling while we're talking about Predator.
Okay. Oh, God. Then I woke up and I said, did Jim say we were going to show Predator? You know? I was dreaming about it while I was being predatorized. Cool, man. Cool. God bless you. God bless you.